in FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, and that you can quote me in FLC.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the FLC Hangout, where your freedom lifestyle begins. Thank you so much for being here again, and we're super excited to be with you guys for yet another powerful episode. And as you can see on our screen, we have the wonderful Shusmita back with us. Thank you, darling, for being here. Super excited to have you. If you guys know Shusmita, you know that you are in for a treat right now. If you haven't seen the other episodes with this amazing woman, go check them out. Watch this one first and then go check them out, because she is full of knowledge, full of golden nuggets, and we are so excited to have you here again. The topic today we're going to touch on, which I think is a very important topic, especially for this new year, new energy. People are stepping into their new selves, right, around this time. We want to touch a little bit on mental and emotional growth, because if you're in this space of business and entrepreneurship, it's my guess that you are facing a lot of mental and emotional growth every day. And how do you deal with that? How do we deal with that? Dealing with setbacks, people around you, limiting beliefs, growing your confidence, all very important steps into having a successful business and a freedom lifestyle. But before we get into it, make sure you're following us on Instagram. They're on the screens now. They're also in the descriptions below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss an episode. And with all that being said, before I run out of breath, Misty, over to you.
Thank you, Josie. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're so excited. And, like she said, we have the beautiful Shusmita here, which is going to help drop some major bombs. Shusmita, you and I deal with, I'm a caregiver, right? And it not just as in a profession, but as a human being, I'm a caregiver. I just love to care. And as we all in FLC do. But you deal with caregivers as well, which we're not going to get too much into that. But the fact that you know what it takes to be a caregiver, and you know how to help not only take care of those caregivers, being the person, what do you call it, paying the caregiver, but also the person who knows who they're caring for. And my thing is where I'm trying to go with all of this is important. Okay, we're not getting into your business, I promise. But it was the fact that we know this mental stability that it takes to care for somebody else, and then also care for ourselves. So my question to you is, dealing with the things that you have to deal with, FLC and your art and everything else in your life. What are some ways that you help take care of not only your loved ones, but yourself?
Thank you, Misty, and thank you, Josie.
You're muted. There you go. Never mind. You got it.
Thank you, Misty, and thank you, Josie, for the beautiful introduction. I always feel like Einstein when I come in the FLC Hangout. And just
prettier.
for all of you, those of you who don't know, at the beginning, Misty and Josie would ask me, would like to join. And later it is, I am asking, can I join? Can I join? So it's because I am treated like a celebrity, like a queen, and I enjoy it. And that brings me to the question Misty asked. And I want to say, after knowing, I have known Misty longer than I had to hire caregivers. So I always had this in the back of my head that what the caregiver or the nurse is going through, what's going on in their head, is what I know firsthand from Misty. Because we have been like very friends So from time to time, Misty shared, and always I think about when I am treating them, the ones I hire, I am thinking about how would I like Misty to be treated? Because if Misty says some beautiful stories about some beautiful clients, and then I'm like, ah, God bless them. And if Misty is not happy, then I'm like, I want to punch them in the face, but I know I'm not allowed to, but I would love to have that opportunity. So I'm always very careful. And about that profession, I want to say they are like lights of heaven, which is the meaning of my name, but they all deserve this title because how they help the helpless people. And we know we can take care of children, we can take care of pets. That's one thing we can do. But when it is a physically challenged elderly or physically challenged person, then it is a whole new level of difficulty. Even family members, we don't agree sometimes to take care intensely of them. So when the caregivers are doing it, I think they are doing a heavenly job. And I appreciate them more than I can say. I have also witnessed the extra care that they do. Like sometimes when I am ill, I have had flu, I had intense back pain, and no questions asked without even saying anything, how they, spread their wings and how they take me under their wings, it is remarkable. Like I have to say, please don't do this, please don't do this. But they would do it anyway. I know this is heavenly. And I also keep in mind that how much extra do they deserve to do, even if they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. At one point, it will become like taking advantage of. And I am very conscious about it. This is not only for the caregivers, but also of the other aspects when I work with people. And I have worked, myself outside FLC, I work with people. And I know sometimes people are being nice, but I am very conscious about how much niceness do I receive. And at one point, I say, okay, thank you. I appreciate it, but I would rather either pay for it or I would rather you don't do this right now. I will ask if I need it because everything costs their effort, everything costs their energy, time. I am very aware of it, but there was like I had to fire one person because she was not providing the service she was paid for, and in my presence, she was looking for another job, which is very disrespectful. Of course, she was not doing her job. Also, she was being disrespectful, so I had to just no. Um, at that point, I wasn't thinking about being kind. I was prioritizing that what is the job description and if I am ready to pay for that. And I am absolutely not ready to pay for that. And I didn't. So I would say, um, as a conclusion, is that when I'm dealing with others, either they may be caregiver because that's a habit for me because I know from Misty, but also when I'm working with other people, because in FLC, Chibaria has a very strict policy of over delivery. Just give it to them. Do you want more? And very often we feel, I know I'm not the only one. Sometimes we feel that this is being taken for granted and we don't like it. So I am very conscious about it. And whenever I give, um, yeah, that is like when I am watching myself, then then it becomes like how much do I offer and when do I stop? But I'm happy to say that in 5 years of working with FLC, I finally have learned some boundary where I say no more. I have done enough, no more. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Misty, and I hope that explains some things for the audience.
Absolutely. So, what we want to point out is that we're not just talking about caring about the elderly and taking care of somebody else. everybody in the situation has to be taken care of mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So whether it be yourself or a client, it can even just be your business, but you need to be able to take care of that and do it in the most healthy way possible. Because when you're not doing that, it not only affects everybody around you, it affects you. And you can't give your best yourself to anybody else and truly help them out without being your own best and taking care of you first. So you're always a priority. Josie, I know that in business, you not only help, you're like phenomenal when it comes to talking to people and helping out our students, but you also have students that you help take care of your mother and her business and her students. And I think that is, I think it's tremendously amazing that you can do that. So my question is for you too, is what steps do you take to take care of yourself and other people? Are there certain things that you do, or is it just you're just naturally awesome and like, butter just comes easily?
Absolutely not, actually. I tell this to students all the time. Thank you, by the way.
Chunky butter?
Yeah, I used to be very chunky, chunky, but I tell this to students all the time. Because I get asked like where did I start? How did I start? How did I get to this place? I used to be one so shy, didn't want to talk to anyone. Like I couldn't even order at a restaurant by myself without nearly crying. So absolutely not like talking to people. This whole sales thing, not natural for me. Not natural. It's absolutely learnt for me, which I love sharing because that means that everyone else, like you don't have to feel good at sales, feel natural at sales. It's a very learned skill. Um, but yeah, I think to answer your question, how do you take care of yourself while doing all that? It's a very good question because I feel like not a lot of people do that at first. They're so, which is great because it means you're a lovely person and you're looking out for others. But people get so focused on the other person, right, that you forget about yourself. And it is really important to take care of yourself first because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And I think really it my answer might be very simple, but I feel like the way I've gotten better at actually taking care of myself through, because we all of us here deal with a lot of people, whether it's in FLC or out of FLC, we all deal with a lot of people. And I think the thing that's helped me um, deal with dealing with a lot of people the most is just doing it. And I feel like I've gotten very there's still more to go, but I feel like by just doing it and going through the lessons you learn while doing it, the emotional growth, the spiritual growth, is you become just stronger. Your mental becomes stronger just by going through it. Um, does that make sense? Like
Mhm.
in the past, when I was having all these people that I was looking after and they were asking me questions, or I'm just going to use FLC as an example. Obviously, I do other things too, but um, sometimes people will come to you not so nicely. Majority of the time, people are lovely. People are lovely. Sometimes, and I think we all know this, people can be not so nice and it can really affect you. It can set you back. It can change, it can knock your confidence. It'll change the way you show up on the next day, the next call, to the next person, which ultimately isn't fair to you or that person. So I think by just going through that over and over again, I've become more mentally strong where it doesn't affect me so much. And people can say things to me, about FLC, about the way we do things, and it doesn't affect me so much because I know that I'm good. I know that we're good. I know that what FRC does is good. So it doesn't really affect me so much anymore. So I think my long-winded answer to your question is be so sold on yourself that you are a good person. What you do is good. Your company, if you work in a team, are doing good things. Be so sold on that no matter what anyone says, it's just like a whoop, you dodge it. You know what I mean? So yeah, just people are gonna have opinions. Everyone is gonna have an opinion, something to say on the way you do things, the way you don't do things. Um, just learn to be okay with that. You just have to be okay with that. And if they're not someone that you would take advice from or you would want to be like, or someone that can actually teach you a valuable lesson, then sometimes you just need to have words fall on deaf ears. You need to be selectively deaf when it comes to receiving those kind of comments sometimes. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Thank
So I kind of want to tell about the past couple of months. I've had a few difficult issues,
Mhm.
and everything just kind of happened all at once. I'm not going to go too into detail because, frankly, it's nobody's business, but I do want to give you a little bit of a generalization so you know what I'm trying to get at. So I've had some people in my life, like two separate sets of people going through personal issues, and I take care of all of them. And I try to be there for everybody. But their issues had nothing to do with me, but because they were issues that I had been through in the past, all of those issues came flooding back to me. So it was like all my past and everything hit me all at once, and I was just like kind of knocked off my feet. And then I realized, wait a minute, I don't have to deal with this. I'm so far beyond this stuff. This doesn't have to affect me anymore. I'm stronger than this now. I'm not that person I was back when all of this was going on. I don't have to deal with this, which helps because now it's like I'm recognizing that I'm in this new chapter and I'm a stronger person. I've learned how to, I'm sorry about the diva in the background. She, but I'm a stronger person and I can move forward, helping other people, giving a better of myself, knowing that and recognizing I am better than I used to be. So I think a lot of times we need to take stock in when we're dealing with those difficult clients or people, what not necessarily look at it and say, well, what am I doing wrong or whatever? Because a lot of times it may have nothing to do with you. If it has something to do with you, then yeah, maybe look at, do I have a hand in this? Do I not have a hand in it? How can I change this? But taking stock and recognizing where you're at in your life, how far you've come, where you want to go. Okay, now how do I set out that plan to keep moving forward and changing what I don't like about myself? You can't change other people, but you can change yourself. And you can set boundaries with people, and it's okay to keep those boundaries. And that's one lesson I am learning. I've been learning for a few years, but it's coming out stronger and stronger. It's like I'm being faced with it more often. Setting the boundaries, being okay with setting boundaries. Sorry. And being okay with saying to somebody, being firm with somebody and it's realizing that you can say things to people and not in a nice way and still be firm and get your point across and not have them feeling like, oh, you're attacking me and you're being mean. So those things, there are ways of doing it without being rude and inconsiderate of somebody else, but taking stock in yourself. And if you have to journal, write it out, right? But I want to, Dad burned it. I forgot what I was going to say. So there never mind. Josie, did you have any questions for Shushmita? I don't want to just do the touchy-feely stuff. I wanted to be able to expand that into more of a generalized, everyday thing that we have to take care of, and not just the feeling part of it, because I think there's more to
Yeah.
taking care of yourself and other people than just that, and the mindset and growth stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely. No,
I can
I'm
speak for Josie on one thing. I can speak for
okay.
Josie.
go on.
I remember, I think 1 year, 2 years ago, Josie wanted to go to an event and she faced some comments regarding FLC and us. And Josie was even 2 years younger than, which is very young.
Mhm.
So we practically saw her like in that. I don't like to hear those things about the people I love. And I was like, oh, who hurt my Josie? And 2 years later, Josie did all those things anyway. So that is one thing to shut down the naysayers or whoever is against. I personally have uh, I personally have one principle is that families, we take it like the most challenges come from families. We are expected to act in a certain way. So if we take it as a basic truth, like family is always going to question, then we can either deal with it negatively or deal with it positively. For me, I know many companies, many programs now promote is that if your family is not supporting you, then they are not meant to be your family. I am against leaving family. Like family is questioning, they will always worry. Like if Josie, Misty were my sisters, I would worry about them too. I would like, are you sure, Josie, you want to go in sales? What if it doesn't work? Oh my God, my sister will be hurt. So I will always worry. And I would do the same if something
You have for me.
unpredictable was on the path, not for you.
You have done that for me. You have done that.
Yeah. So that's, you see, that's in my personality. Like I want to protect my darling ones from all kinds of pain ever. So when family members do that, they are worrying. One thing is you can negotiate. For me, what works is I downplay because whenever I have failures in my past, just know if you watch earlier episodes, you will see what kind of massive failure I was. And when my health was compromised, I had to be, you know, almost like I want to say the word burden to my family because I wasn't able to work or give any inputs. So that's all. And that is the most horrible thing that ever happened to me. Uh, that's why whenever I'm excited about something, my family members, even not family members, but family friends, they all start questioning. And of course, I don't like it. But what I do is I downplay. I'm like, you know what? I'm a failure. I'm a loser. Don't ask. I'm just a loser. And as long as you cannot figure out, your family is like, okay, maybe they're just figuring out. We'll get to know. So it works. They don't come after me like, what are you doing anymore? And there will always be some people whose mission in life is to pull down others. You deal with them however you want. So they may be family, however you are related, however you are acquainted, they will be there. I admit you deal with them the way you want, but other than that, those people you will need in your life, you need to find a middle ground. I am against the promotion where if your family doesn't align, because how do you know? How do I know that everything I'm doing right now is working out for me perfectly? We never know. And we need our loved ones and our family by our side. So that's my principle. And I know Josie has given the best answer ever where she did it all by herself and like, haha, here I am. I know that, and Misty is going through, and I love them very much. For those of you whom I don't know yet, I will say mental and emotional challenges come from we think outside, but it originates on the inside. So there are also outside reasons, I will say, but however impossible it seems, on the inside, we must do the work. And there are challenges. Not all the time I like my work. Here in FLC too, I think I speak for all three of us when there are times till date we find, oh, this is so difficult, this is so tough. But we work through. This is healthy challenge. Just know when you cannot figure out something and you have people who are there to support you. And I cannot figure out the tech stuff in 5 years, but I try and try and try. This is healthy challenge. And unless there are, God forbid, there are physical abuse and there are very harsh mental abuse, then you leave. Even if family members, you leave. And I know there are many countries in the world who provide support. Please seek help. Other than that, um, I know Misty is going through some challenges. And like I said, we want to punch them in the face, but we cannot. What do we do? Where is the middle ground that we find out? And emotional challenges, sometimes we must go through because it defines who we are. I know Josie is very cool, but it doesn't mean that she doesn't feel challenges. I know she feels. And Misty is very open. It doesn't mean that there are stuff that I even don't know how she handles. And same for me, we never know because it is unique to each. That part you need to find someone trusted with whom you can share, and then you can like deal with it because our emotions will be with us till death and even after life. If you believe or not believe, we are with ourselves for eternity. So we must learn to be patient with ourselves and deal with ourselves, have compassion, learn the difference between healthy and unhealthy. That will be. I'm sorry, Josie, I took all of your highlights because I know how you worked out and I was just bragging.
No, thank you so much. Don't be sorry. That was great. And thank you for bringing that up. Actually, I completely forgot about that whole ordeal, I guess you could call it, before I went to for and for everyone who doesn't know, there was an event, short story. There was an event in America that I wanted to go to do with everything that we do here. I received some not so supportiveness about that, and then the next year I did it myself. I went by myself without any help from the people I had asked for help first place. So that was good. And that shows you that where there's a will, there is a way. Um, and I really like both of you have said such amazing things here. I was trying to remember all these things you were saying to touch back on it, but I I think that a big lesson that I have learned in this and what Shabaria says all the time to us, but also like to me personally when I was going through all this stuff is most of the time, like you said, Shusmita, when it's family, they come from a place of care. And it can be really easy to take their criticism, take their worry as like a dagger to the heart, like, why are you saying this to me, and get angry. But what's important to realize for you, for your peace of mind, but also for them and your relationship with them, is that most of the time they're coming from a place of care. And sometimes in the way they say things, in the way they go about things, it can feel like that's not the case, but really it is. And there is, and not everyone, by the way, comes from a place of care. I've had it from both. I've had it from both. Um, but it's being able to decipher, okay, is this person coming from a place because they care and they worry, and yeah, this game of business and entrepreneurship isn't for the weak. It's not for the weak, and it's quite right that people might worry about you going into this because not everyone is successful at it. That's the truth. But if you need to know, again, it comes back to being so sold on yourself and what you're doing. You need to know that what you're doing is good, and you need to know that you're going to be successful at it. No one else needs to believe it if you believe it. So I think that's really important, deciphering if this person is actually attacking you or if they're coming from a place of care. You're going to get both. You are going to get both. Let me tell you. And that's okay. That's okay. It's all part of it. And there was something else I wanted to touch on that you said, and now I've completely forgotten.
It's contagious.
It is. There was just so much goodness in that I completely forgot. Um, I'll come back to that if I remember. But yeah, I think because in terms of this topic, we're talking about a lot of things, right? Not just business. And if you're listening to this, you can listen to this in the context of wherever you are in your life. Maybe you are a caregiver and it all relates to you being a caregiver. Maybe you are an entrepreneur and you're starting your business or you're in business and this is hitting you that way. Or maybe it's just hitting you in general life. Maybe you just have people right now and just in general that are giving you a hard time. So I hope that wherever you are listening to this, that this is helping. And that you realize that everyone goes through it. Everyone goes through it. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. And what's very powerful, you both touched on this a little bit. What's very powerful is that at any given point, you have the power to choose how you react to something. At any given time, in any situation, you have the power to choose, okay, can I, let's say someone comes to you with some not so nice comments or someone's not being very nice to you on the phone. You have the power to either react back to that, get angry. And our initial reaction most of the time is to get defensive and angry and defend yourself and defend what you're doing and get all worked up and why are they saying this and get angry. That's the very easy place to go. But you also have the power to actually not let it affect you. And it's easier said than done. And it comes with practice and it comes with being aware in the situation. And maybe it has to happen a few times for you to actually get to that place. But you have the power to listen, but not actually buy what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. So, okay, thank you. And just not respond at all. And really, that's not for them. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you, your peace of mind, your mental stability, and for you to be able to carry on. Because trust me, in the past, like Shusmita, what you brought up with everything that happened when we're going through that phase of my journey, my life, it can really affect you. And in my experience, it then affects how you show up for the rest of the day or for the next day, or it just changes the way you show up in general because you've let it too far into your mind and you've let it affect you. And that's not fair on you, but it's also not fair on everyone around you that you're not showing up now to your highest potential because you let someone say something that affected you. So my point is that at any given point, it's easier said than done, I know, but you have the power to choose how you react, how you process things. And I think that's really important to realize. And not everyone has to agree with you. Not everyone's going to agree with you. And that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. So thank you guys for bringing that up because I felt like I really needed to share that. But yeah, I think we've all of us here and all of us in the FLC core family have had that once or twice where people have come to us with some not so nice things. How do you
Except for Seb.
Seb?
Seb,
Okay.
yeah.
I think even Seb. I think even
Really?
Seb,
He's so good at and talking to people and handling it, though. I don't think he sees it as too much of a
Yeah,
big deal.
right.
He's like he's got more
Yeah,
fans than he does
that's
like anything
yeah.
else.
So for those of you who don't know, watch go in just scroll the channel playlist and watch Seb's episode. You will see what I'm talking about. I don't think Seb has any naysayers because he can bring out yes out of anything. Even Josie's plants will say yes to everything. I think.
Mhm.
Sorry, I interrupted Josie.
No. I was passing back to you guys anyway because I was talking for a while. But yeah, I think, and that's really, I want to know your opinion on this as well. That's really where it's so important to have people around you that do believe in you and are on the same path. And if you don't have that, like in real life, people in the physical, and you can real life, you can touch them, find someone online. Like for me, it's the FLC team. Really, truly. I don't know if I would still be on this journey if it wasn't for the team, Shavaria, Seb, specifically. So you need people around you. Like I wouldn't still be doing this hangout if it wasn't for Misty, like being here with me, saying, "Hey, let's do it." And Shushmita is. I wish you guys could see Shushmita every day like we do. She is the most caring person ever. So really, like there's times where she's reached out to me because she's noticed I felt a little bit off or something, and that's really important to have people around you like that. So if you don't have people in the physical, find them online. Come join the FLC core or FLC family, core family. Come join the team, everyone. Um, so just have a community, whether that's online or in person. Um, it changes the game, right?
Yeah. Making sure that it's a positive community is very important. I want people to really step back and recognize the growth because life is it they say life is a roller coaster and it really is because everybody has their ups and they have their downs. Everybody goes through the good and the bad. And when you step back and you look at the situation and you look at other people in their lives, you're like, everybody goes through the same issues. The situation that the issue arises may be different. And the way they handle that issue, it may be different, but it's the same issue. So stepping back and judging people and being like, well, I don't like this person and I don't like that person because they're this and they're that and they're doing this. Well, that's not what we want to do. And that does not take care of you as a person. You want to be really aware of what you're doing and who you're doing it with and who you're talking about and what you're doing, what you're saying, not only to other people, but to yourself. Self-care is very important. And my point with that is don't let other people and their judgments stop you because at some point in their life, they've either gone through the same thing or they are going through it or they will be going through it. So don't let them stop you. What you need to do is self-care and what do you call it? Reflection,
Yeah.
introspection, whatever. Look inside yourself.
Something.
Introspection. There you go. I knew it was in there somewhere. But anyway, look inside yourself and really reflect on what you want and what things you don't like about yourself and in your life and how you feel about things at the moment and work on changing those. Because the whole change and the whole growth, it all starts with you. And then you can start growing and changing your environment as well. Sometimes we have to not only start with ourselves, but also look at who we're around. Okay, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. I don't like this. What's the cause of this? Okay, if it's the cause is the people I'm around, let me move things around or see what I can do to fix that. And then I can continue to grow myself and my outer from there, right? But I really want to know, just before we go to wrap up, I want to end this on a really good note. because we've been so, I don't want to say negative, but we've been on the more emotional side of things. And I want people to go away with this, from this, with a motivational, inspired, positive note, and things that they can do in order to grow and change everything. So my question for you ladies as we're wrapping up here is, what are some things that people can do in order to grow and change, becoming the stronger person, so they can go out there and be able to give that best to other people? Any ideas? You're so
Do you wanna go
beautiful,
first,
Shusmita.
or
Like, oh my gosh.
what do you say?
I said Shusmita, she's the way she was looking. It's like, you're so beautiful, Shusmita. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to go first, Shush?
Um, yes, I have an idea. For those of you who are watching, how about I forward this question to all of you. I know some of you are, uh, okay, many of us are in that situation where day-to-day life, we face challenges and we take our boss or the people we hire or family members on the other side where they are the source of mental emotional challenges and we're dealing with it. So for all of you who are watching, some of you may be in that place where you are the boss, or you are that family member, or you are that neighbor or that person who is asking these questions, or who are in charge and are making decisions that may or may or will or have already put people in challenging positions. Why don't you let us know your thoughts, how you deal with it? For example, when I am dealing with Misty, it is very easy. Misty is a friend, and we are in two different departments, so our works don't clash. I am lucky for Misty and Josie. So sometimes, let's say, when in my arena, when I'm working, and sometimes there's a clash, I remain patient just because at this age, or in my experience of long, long years, many, many moons, I have understood that there is no alternative to patience. Like right at this moment, I may think, why is Josie not smiling? Maybe Josie is not liking. But in 5, 10 minutes, I different reactions, like she's smiling already. Or maybe 5, 10 days, I will know. And some months later, I will understand Josie more. So that's patience begets gifts, trust me. But when I am in that position where I need to hire, by the way, I hire designers too for my brand. So when I am having an unpleasant experience, and there are some conditions I put in place, some tasks I put in place, because if I'm paying you, I need this job. And then I make a decision if I'm extending this contract, or if I am, after this contract, I just terminate. I am not working with you ever again. So on good notes, on we part ways on good notes. I know I don't intend to work with that person anymore, but I don't know how I'm going to cross path with them later. So that's what I do. For those of you who are watching, I know Josie is a teacher in her position. So Josie, you please answer that too. That sometimes we need to put people in that position where we know they are feeling stressed. And I know on me personally, me, Shushmita, I am personally try to make it as easy as possible. And I try to break down as much as possible. Like, this is why we need to do this way, or we need to do this. Uh, it not always work. There is never going to be every person who is happy with everything. So that is, I don't know if I am still in accordance to Misty's question. I made a long speech. So Josie,
Oh,
of course,
great.
please share your answer. And for those of you who are watching, uh, especially some of you will be on LinkedIn. Some of you are on LinkedIn in the employer position. Please share with us. When you know this is going to cause stress, what you do, or how do you take care of people? You know they are in a challenging position. How you take care of them? Please let us know. Does it make
Mm.
sense, Miss Josie?
Mhm.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. It absolutely makes sense. And yeah, it's so true with when I'm teaching at the studio, there's times where people come in and they look so unhappy to be there. I'm like, why are you here? But I don't know what their day has just been. Maybe they're coming to the class because they've just had an awful day and they just need to shake it off and dance, and that's why they look so stressed and like they hate me. I make jokes sometimes with the classes I teach. I'm like, you guys look like you hate me right now. And then they start smiling. They're like, oh no, we're just concentrating. Da, da, da. So I think that's exactly what you said. You don't know. You really don't know what someone is going through. And sometimes it's been the people that I've been watching throughout the class thinking they hate it. They hate it. They're having an awful time because of their face, their demeanor. And then they come up to me at the end. It's like, thank you so much. That was great. I'm like, oh my God, thank you for saying that. And it's the same with FLC. Sometimes we're on a call or a demo, or if we're teaching on a live class, and people just it seems like they hate it. They hate what you're saying. Misty, I'm not sure if you had this feeling when you were speaking on the closing board the other day, because I had it when I spoke. I'm like, oh my God, people hate it. Like I'm not making any sense. And then people message you after, and it's like, thank you so much. It was great. You're like, wow. So I think it's yeah, I think the more you do that, the more mentally strong you get, and you realize that it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes you never know what the other person's going through. So that's how I took kind of what you were saying at the end there, Shish. But to answer your question as well, Misty, s- stay busy is my very simple advice. Stay busy, whether it's going to events, prospecting, posting, social media, calling people that you know you need to call, whether you're on demos or you're teaching, whatever it is, stay not just busy, but productive. I should say productive. Stay stay busy and productive, because I promise you it affects you so much less when you're doing things. And it might seem so simple, but it's the days where I have nothing to do that things like that, negative people, it eats up at me. But when I'm doing lots and I'm busy and I'm filming and I'm contacting people, I'm calling, I'm on demos, I'm on service calls with students, people could all day message me with negative stuff and it wouldn't affect me because I'm like, oh, I'm too busy for that anyway. So really, it might seem simple, but stay busy. Stay busy is it won't just help you in that aspect. It'll help you in general. And the last thing I want to say too is um, something Seb told me once, which is again so simple, but so like, oh yeah. Um, I had a just someone being negative again a couple months ago, and I'm going to share this very honestly, because sometimes I get on calls with students and they get really surprised that we actually go through these things and we still feel certain ways. So I'm going to be very honest in hopes that it helps other people. It was a couple months ago, and I was receiving some negativity from someone in my life, and it really affected me. Like I was so upset about it. And I called Seb like crying. I was like, no, 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 it's not fair, it's this, and no, 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 no. And he told me, you, and this is what I want other people to realize, you have two ways you can let this affect you. Either you let it eat up at you and you let it make you sad and doubt yourself and doubt what you're doing and just start falling on this decline path of everything you're doing. Or, and again, you have the power to choose which one, by the way, or you let it accelerate you. You take their comments, okay, thank you so much. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. It's not your job right then and there to convince someone that what you're doing is good. That's not your job.
Mhm.
Not your job to convince anyone. But through your actions, you can prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. I saw this post the other day that was like, if you need to do something maybe out of spite or out of a place of I'm going to prove you wrong, if you need to use that to actually do the doings and do exactly that, do it. Do it. It feels great. So he told me that, and I was like, oh, great. Yeah, so true. And again, you can choose. You can choose your default might be one of them, but you can choose at the end of the day which one you want to do. So choose wisely. I know which one I'd want to choose. Yeah.
So
Can I
yeah.
add something to that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it can go both ways, by the way. Those people, either they will understand or it can backfire real bad. That happened in my case. So in my downtime, there were people, we are not related, but they were family friends. They insulted me so bad, so very bad. Like every time, I'm talking about 15 years ago. Like, then I was at the beginning of my career. So they insulted me so bad. Oh my God, I cried for days and months. And not only once, over and over again, every encounter, it was like bad insults. Ugh. And when
Mhm.
I started doing well, and when I talked to them, it made them angry somehow and it backfired. And not only me, they came after like convincing my family, like what I'm doing with my life. And that is actually when I started playing low. So I'm not discouraging anyone. I am saying what Josie said. Plus, there is a bonus point. You can actually see people as they are once you do your doings, not when you are receiving this, once you have done your things. And I have given you a very smart option to put these people away is to stay low. That is, take it or leave it options. You choose your defense.
Yeah, very true.
Misty, you tell if I'm smartest or not.
Oh, you're always smart. You're like we've said before, you're Einstein. You're a beautiful
Oh,
version of Einstein.
Mhm.
Um,
thank
I agree
you.
with you guys. There is a give and take when it comes to dealing with people. And like Josie said, you have a choice. It's your decision. I think one lesson that it's really hard for people to understand and wrap their head around is every single decision, every single thing in your life is your choice. You're the one that decides every thought, every feeling. You're the one that has control over that. And being aware of that and being able to master that takes time and work and recognition, but you're the one that can control that and you're the one that can decide how you're going to feel, what you're going to do, and how you're going to treat other people. I want people to go out there today and I want you to look at other people and not just think, that's another person. That's another negative person. I want you to look at people in a different light. I want you to look at somebody and say, and decide, are they having a good day or are they having a bad day? If they're having a good day, fantastic. If they're having a bad day, what kind of situations do you think that they're going through? I'm not asking go out there and judge them. I'm asking you to recognize that they're human beings and they go through situations just like everybody else. So if they're coming at you, like you said, your family, friends were coming at you, Shusmita, it says more about the other people and how they feel about themselves and their lives than it does about you. And they're wanting you to dim your light because it lets them know that you're not doing better. Because when you're doing better, they feel bad because they gave up. And that's where we don't want to do. You don't want to let somebody else dictate how you feel and how you run your life because they're not the ones living it. When it comes down to it, every moment, every second, every millisecond of your life, there's only one person that's going to be there the entire time, and that's you. And you're the person that has to be happy with everything you're doing. And in order to do that, you need to be able to do the self-care and the self-discipline and the being able to be self-aware enough to know what you want and what you do not want in your life. So please go out there and look at other people in a different light. Try to be a little bit more understanding. I'm not saying give them a free pass and let them treat people like crap or whatever else. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be aware and giving them a little bit of compassion in the fact that they're going through something, I will give them the energy that they deserve. Even if they don't see that they deserve the good energy, I will give them good energy, but I'm keeping my distance. And I'm choosing not to let that affect me because I deserve better. They deserve better. I deserve better. And a lot of times, you know how there's that saying, kill them with kindness, right? Somebody comes at you so negatively. What I told when my oldest daughter was going into school in elementary school, I'd drop her off at school. She'd be all happy. She'd come out of the school at the end of the day. She's all happy and everything else. As soon as she got in the car and closed the car door, boom, instant tears. Mom, they're so mean. They're bullying me. I don't want to go back. It's horrible. They don't treat me nicely. And I looked at her and I said, okay, so kill them with kindness. She goes, what do you mean? And I said, okay, so next time somebody comes up to you to bully you and they're saying mean things to you, look at them and say, okay, you know what? I am so sorry you feel that way. I think you're an absolute amazing person, and I would love to be able to play with you and be your friend. But if you're going to treat me this way, maybe we can play at another time when you're feeling better, because I don't want to deal with this right now, all right? I can't handle this. But I think you're an amazing person, and I would love to be your friend. And she went to school the next day, and she did it to somebody who was bullying her, and they were lifelong friends after that. Because she took the opportunity to give somebody kindness when they weren't getting it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And she took that opportunity it was her choosing to change that situation by allowing the other person to know, whatever you're going through, you're an amazing person, you deserve better, and I like you, I want to be your friend. And that changed that other person, and they were friends after that. So I want people to go out there and realize, okay, first of all, like Josie said, keep busy doing things, but that can also include not just the business and exercising and, family stuff. It can also mean go take a spa day, do self-care, because of the fact that when we feel good in our body, that translates to everything else. Everything you do, every thought, every movement you make in your life affects your entire life. It affects everything else. So go out there and take care of yourself so you can give the best of yourself to other people. Okay? Let's go out there and make 2025 a year of growth and empowerment. Okay? Thank you guys so much for being here. We so enjoyed this. If you have any comments, any suggestions on topics, or you just want to share your story, we would love to hear it. Please let us know in the comments. We read everything. We do respond, when we can. We try to respond to everybody. I think we do, don't we? Just about everybody we respond to. Anyway, with that being said, let this year be a year of growth. Keep going out there learning and like we say here at FLC, everybody deserves to be free, and that includes mentally, emotionally, and physically, not just financially. Okay? And here's where it begins. So keep learning. We'll see you guys next week, and have a fantastic day. Bye.